No,
Yeah.
That's
Gotcha. Since 2000. But Alien Romulus, I finally got to see it. It is my second favorite movie of the year that I've seen so far. Fede Alvarez nails the suspense in this movie. And I was worried because I had high expectations going into this, and more and more waiting. And then Scott liked it, and oh my God, Scott never likes anything, so that added a different layer.
Scott likes things; he just doesn't like anything that you like.
On the rare occasion when the stars align, you guys.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, now I've got the added, I loved it. I loved the movie. I loved the lead. A lot of the characters I didn't care about, but I did care about the lead. I thought she was really, really good. She had a nice arc throughout the story, and
what's her name? The junior photographer from Civil War.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I was like, where have I seen this person before?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yep. No, I like
she's
her.
good.
I liked her in that movie too. So like, I like her.
Mm-hmm. The actress's name is Kaylee Spaney.
Yeah, Spaney.
I don't know. I saw it, and I don't know how spoiler you're gonna get, but like, I didn't really like any of the humans in this movie. I was one of the ones where I was like, okay, the alien can have all of you. I was very indifferent to it.
I mean, we've all seen it, right?
Yeah.
I think
So we can get into spoiler talk about it, certainly. But
I
get what you're saying, Justin. I mean, that one character, though, it served a purpose because I'm like, oh, I can't wait for this dude to die because he's
1,000%.
Oh yeah,
1,000%.
Like that was
the cousin.
That was the easy. There's always got to be one.
I mean, I knew it was coming, but it was a satisfying death. I'll get it.
Yeah, like that's the thing too. Like it felt good when it happened. Like I was like, all right, there was a significant amount of pain and/or suffering involved with this death. He needed that. Like that guy needed that.
The audience knew because they know the history of the alien blood being acid. Like, oh boy, he's about to have a world of pain if he doesn't figure out real quick. He needs to get away from that thing, and he just didn't figure it out fast enough. You know what I mean? It was very satisfying.
That pregnant lady, my God, she had a bum rap.
Right? Yeah, no, she had it the worst. That was for sure. Oh my goodness.
That's gonna be another recurring theme with a lot of these movies that we're talking about tonight is pregnancies that are extremely complicated.
I like that actress too. I like that actress a lot. She's been in things that I've really liked her in.
I guess this is. I mean, Max or Justin, you guys want to go first on your thoughts about?
Oh no, you go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, just because here's the whole thing because I know we've been in a back and forth on the chat about it, Jay. But I did like the movie overall. I think it's a perfect. Here we go. It's fine.
Perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine.
Movie. It starts, it ends. It's fine.
There are sequences in it. It's very atmospheric. It's a great continuation of Ridley's visual and atmospheric aesthetic that he set up in the first movie. I feel it's very fitting that it does pick up basically with elements from the first movie. Although I'm like, didn't the Nostromo get vaporized? Why are there still fragments of it floating around? But I like the production design of it. There are some cool sequences. That is the most facehuggers I've ever seen together in an alien movie, and it creeped me the hell out. The acid blood in Zero Gravity was really ingenious. I felt tension about that. I'm sorry though, we're gonna have to talk about this. The point where it kind of pivoted for me into like, okay, now they're just playing the hits. It is the character that shows up who is basically, even though it is a brand new character or a character we haven't met before, visually though, it's a callback to a legacy character from the first movie. There's no reason it should be that character. There are many other synthetic models out there. We've had Michael Fassbender, we've had Lance Henriksen, we have a synthetic in this movie who he was really good too.
Yeah,
Andy was my favorite character. But again, synthetics come in all shapes and sizes. There is no reason other than blatant fan service for the diehards who remember the first movie for the character that shows up to be that likeness. And immediately when I saw that character, the entire narrative of the film shifted, where it was like, okay, we're echoing a fight in the vacuum of space. We're echoing, for some reason, get away from her, you bitch, which I hated that line came out of Andy.
Yeah, it felt so forced.
It was no point. The whole reason
he'd never even call anyone that.
The whole reason Sigourney Weaver says that in Aliens is because the whole movie's about moms who are really defensive and will fight other moms.
But Sigourney Weaver's character will say, "Get away from her, you bitch."
Yes.
Versus Andy would just be like, "Get away from her."
He sounded embarrassed to say it too.
Yeah,
he's like, "Get away from her, you bitch."
It's sort of like the same thing we're talking about with Hugh Jackman. Like when he cusses, it's weird because you're like, you're just a really nice guy. I don't see you saying that.
And Ridley Scott had to bring back his Prometheus stuff, which I think on its own would be fine, but the fact that he keeps trying to tie it back into the overarching alien stuff doesn't work for me. Like, he brought back Prometheus goo. And even though he didn't direct this, but you can't tell me that him being a producer, he wasn't like, "Oh, we got to have my goo in there."
Oh, yeah, Ridley
good.
Ridley Scott and James Cameron did have say on the scripts. Like, they were involved.
Yeah.
I don't know to what degree, but Fede Alvarez did say they were involved. And the cameo you're talking about, that was a Ridley Scott thing. He got the permission from the family. And to be completely honest with you, I would have known that it was a callback because I've seen Aliens, and all of them one time. I've seen Prometheus twice because I really like Prometheus. I actually thought that they did a really good job tying the Covenant and Prometheus stuff in.
I had a weird Mandela effect with Lance Henriksen. I thought he was in the first Alien movie as the synthetic. Yeah, so like my wife and I watched it recently, within the last year or so, where I was like, oh, okay, like my brain fixed itself. But I always put Lance Henriksen in that first one for some reason, and so when if we hadn't watched it recently, then I would have been like, who the heck is that guy?
And like I said, that's why I was like, okay, this is clearly a callback designed for the ones who have stuck with this franchise since '79, who have been there since the beginning and are like entrenched. Like, I get it. And here's the thing, Jay, I don't mind that the family cleared on it. You know what? If they're gonna get compensation for that, fine. I have no problem with that at all. But it is a trend that I find very concerning, that I have noticed ever since Disney has acquired these properties from Fox Studios. We're getting a lot more of this type of stuff. And I'm not saying other studios haven't done this. I mentioned to you in the chat, Furiosa did it, actually. They had the likeness of an actor who had passed away in 2019 show up. But he shows up for like 9 seconds, has one line of dialogue, isn't a plot point necessarily. Like, the whole movie doesn't revolve around them being there or not. Here, again, this is why I felt the shift in the film. The whole arc of the story revolves around them discovering this character and this likeness. And then from there, it's really distracting that it's like, we're having another, oh, by the way, we're having another Alien Resurrection hybrid baby. We're having, again.
I don't know why they had to touch on that note. I was like, and like the thing is,
I liked it. Yeah, that was freaky.
The Alien Resurrection one's freakier. Like,
it looks the same. Like I feel like, or like not exactly the same, but I'm like, that is like the same guy designed them. You know, it's like, oh, okay, he's got better technology now, so now it looks a little grosser. It's got, like different weird things.
Right.
But like the monster is in essence the same.
Well, it was. They did use the same special effects team, or the same practical effects team from the first 4 Alien movies.
But it's also the fact that it's serving the same narrative purpose that the other one did back in '97.
Yeah,
and it's
like you're saying, like it's just like a playback of like, this has got to happen, that's got to happen, that's got to happen. We got to have the goo.
Yep. part of me was like, is this just bothering me more because all this started after the reveal of that character, who's a clear callback? Like, that was my main thing, because I was with the movie for the first half of it. Like, I like the setup of the first half where it's like, these kids want to get off this shitty planet.
There's a reason that they're doing this, and it's not just like, oh, hey, we need money, or we're greedy, and in like, okay, like, yeah, they're being abused and extorted and what's the other word?
Exploited.
Exploited. There it is.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we have a chance to break free of this. Let's go for it. Now, is it exactly legal? No, but like, what else is there to do?
It was going to be like a
I-
heist in space.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
basically.
I was 100% on board for it. I was like, this is different, like,
And-
and that's cool.
You get the theme, you know, it's a recurring theme throughout all the Aliens movies so far. Weyland-Yutani sucks.
Yes,
You had that at the beginning of this movie because, yeah, that's a Weyland-Yutani planet, and they treat their workers like shit. But then it could just be like, hey, let's go up to this derelict space station, let's get this stuff so we can get to our dream planet, and an alien shows up, and, you know, it's that. And it could have just been that, and that would have been its nice self-contained story. But the fact that they also have to tie in, oh yeah, reminder, Weyland-Yutani's still a shit. Here's half an android to remind you.
and like, yeah, like I would have, I liked with the shift in Andy. You know, I liked that, like, you know, oh, they put the chip in, and the chip is like, oh, well, this needs to be fixed, and that needs to be fixed. But yeah, like they could have done that, and it not have been that guy. It
Right.
didn't have to be even the Nostromo. Like you're saying, like the Nostromo got vaporized. So like it could have just been another ship. They're like, okay, hey, this company sucks. We're good, but they always got to F with this alien stuff.
Yeah.
They always got to mess with it. Like they can't help themselves. You know, some poor kids happen upon it, and this happens.
Like, I think at this point, it's well established. Weyland-Yutani is deep into Xenomorph, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, they
You
got
could
it.
just
They got it bad.
assume
They
they're
are
doing
down
something with
bad
Xenomorphs
on
in the
some
background.
aliens.
It doesn't have to be a one-to-one connection with the first movie in terms of like, oh, they got it from the Nostromo, or they got it from, you know, or they got the stuff from when in Aliens, when 426 is finally populated. Or it could just be like, no, Weyland-Yutani knows where these things are and is just dicking around with them in the background. Just assume that.
Right, and again, like, and that's the other thing is like where you don't need everything just spelled out in the movie with you know dialogue or whatever. Like, you don't have to walk us through that. Like, you can imagine these things coming together in any, you know, like it's not a stretch to put that together.
But like I said, there was stuff that really did work. I liked a lot of the new kind of ideas and sequences they did. Like I said, the acid blood 0G stuff. I was like,
Super cool.
That's kind of cool,
was dope.
honestly. I really
That was
dug
dope.
That.
For
But
sure.
it was just that I felt bombarded by a lot of the callbacks, and I just felt like it felt like I was more aware of them because of the fact we have for a deep fake. We have a deep fake that's a major plot point here.
You were. And I watched the movie. I liked it. And here we go again. I like the movie. I'm putting my stamp on it. It is August 24th, 2024. Max says the movie was good.
So in 2029, you'll hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next time we talk about it, I always hated that movie, but no, it was good. Like I liked it. I had a lot of fun. I thought, you know, again, like the different things that they did. The 0G acid in particular, I really, really liked. I was like, okay, they are trying. They're trying to make a good alien movie, not like a lot of the Alien sequels.
Because Fede Alvarez, he also did the 2013 Evil Dead, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that I felt echoes of that a little bit too, where it's like, you know what? I kind of like the changes they're doing with this new setup of characters. Like, oh, we're getting into like talking about addiction and mental illness and things like that. It's getting a little bit more psychological than the first Evil Dead was. And then, you know, in the last half of that movie, it's just like, nope, someone needs a chainsaw hand.
Don't ever watch that movie, Max. That movie will terrify you. Don't ever watch it.
Don't worry about it. I haven't watched it yet. I'm not gonna watch it now.
I think he can watch the post-credit scene. The post-credit scene, he can
watch. Yeah, it's just a face. You can handle that.
It's a face.
But no, this one I was in for because I mean I really Alien is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and it, you know, like I put a lot of stock in that because, you know, again, like you have to make a good horror movie for me to watch it and like it and watch it again. So that, you know, like the Alien sets a high bar, and I feel like they didn't. I feel like Alien's still better, obviously, and like, just because you hadn't. When you see the monster, everything after that is worse. The build up is really the thing, and
the genie's out of the bottle, essentially.
Right. Yeah. You can't not know what you know about the monster, but like when you don't know anything about it, That's what makes it really scary. So I feel like they did a good job. They twisting things, like you're saying, like you've never seen that many face huggers in the same place at the same time, and that they would like hop around and it's the many bugs thing for me. Like one bug is okay, it doesn't bother me at all, but when you get the swarm of them, that's
low key. I'm gonna be honest with you. Full-grown xenomorphs have never actually scared me. The face huggers are the scariest part of the franchise for me.
Yeah,
just because they are small, but the fact that
they're so invasive.
But that's the worst.
Yes, it's worse.
It's because the alien just kills you. The alien just kills you. And in this movie, at least the alien was like eating people. You know, like I dug that. I was like, oh, there's a nice little new thing. You know, like that's, and it's dragging the bodies off like, I'm hungry.
And then you actually see like what happens in the full cycle. Like you have a straight up like vagina in the wall that gives birth to a full grown.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, that's different.
I'm curious because we're getting Noah Wiley, who did Fargo, is doing an Alien series that comes out next year. And I don't remember where in the timeline it fits. I thought this was that. I didn't realize I didn't realize they were two separate things, but so I need to watch Prey because I've heard Prey is also really good.
Prey is great. Dope.
Prey is really good.
Prey was dope.
And honestly, if you were to do a TV show, I would say that Prey would be sort of the angle you want to go, where it's not a full do like an anthology thing with Alien, like what they did with the Dark Horse comics. They didn't have necessarily an overarching like story arc throughout the Aliens comic. They just told smaller like vignettes about people coming into contact with xenomorphs and how these different people respond. Like I remember there's one like short 6-page story in a Dark Horse like presents thing that I read where one of the shittiest guys you could be a coworker with, they discover an egg, dude, you know, gets like a face hugger and then gets like a xenomorph implanted, and the dude like holds himself up inside the escape pod and everyone else is left to die. And then he comes out being like, "Oh my god, I tried to help, but the captain wouldn't hear of it." And like he comes out a hero, but he's a selfish prick who saved himself.
I recently signed up for Audible, and they have some Alien audio series that they've been producing over the last few years. I'm going to check out because their Orphan Black series that they have on Audible is amazing. Tatiana Maslany, she's not just like. She's not just doing her normal characters. She's got new characters that she's voicing in this thing, and she's like the narrator.
Characters instead of 9,
dude. I mean, and she sounds like a different person every time, from the narrator to the. It's unbelievable. But that's another day.
Always have my respect for Orphan Black because like she made you feel like they were all different people.
Yeah, Max, like, we have one that we think is hotter than the rest. It's
the same chick. Like it's dude. What was it? Casmina? What's
Asima?
Cosima. Yeah, yes, Cosima. Yeah. Hottest one out of all of them. You know, we should, Jason. We should do a podcast lips where we rate like 1 to 9.
Of all the clones.
Yes.
The only reason I remembered her name is because her wife showed up on the new from Black Echoes on AMC. But Justin, what'd you think? Besides the lack of characters.
Well, and to be fair, like they did grow me after a while. He's the main character, but for the majority of the movie, I wasn't a big fan of the humans involved in that movie. But I guess my only caveat that Max and Mike didn't bring up was I didn't understand why the alien caught her to save her life with his tail. Do you guys know why? She was following the air of it. But what predator would do that? What predator it's dead either way. I get it's a cool thing to have happen in a movie, but it's just like
why?
I get it. Well, because they're reenacting that scene where Alien will get sucked out into space possibly, but our hero might get sucked out into space too. So we're doing that scene again. We still got some time in movie to save? Like, what do we do? Alien saves her with tail. Sure.
It didn't make sense to me. That was the only thing that took me out of it.
it's also another thing too, because if they use the character, the pregnant chick, you know, like they work her into that situation somehow, that makes a lot more sense to aliens. Like, oh no, there's
a baby.
yeah,
That's where my mind went. It's like, what
Right.
if she's been like had a kid?
That's our baby.
Yeah.
right,
kind of our baby.
Yeah,
Also, I'm like,
yeah, I agree with you. That's like, it's just, you know, when
you know what?
movie
People in
that
research
people
labs, they just need to finish watching the lab footage.
Right?
Like,
Oh man,
like
that mouse
you know,
footage.
yes,
just finish watching the footage you recorded, and then be like, maybe it's not a good idea.
oh my
I don't
goodness, no, okay, like when Andy's like, you can take this, like you might live. I'm like, this guy already told you. This guy already told you the company comes first.
Mhm.
Like, why would you have to understand, like, the company comes first. Why would he tell you anything that's not going to
Gonna
benefit
help
the
you.
company?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the
like,
one-
it's
the
not
one
helping
girl-
you, it helps them.
She
Like,
told her.
it's a-
She told her not to take it.
I mean, she was. I mean, I get that.
no,
She was
I
desperate.
get why
Yeah.
she took it, but then like when they're having that little conversation, like should she take it? You know, I'm like, why are you even asking this guy? Like anything he tells you, if he like,
He was very much being the whole Peter Griffin. Come on.
yeah, that got me out. That took me out of it a little bit. I was like, you've seen what this guy can do. Like
Yep.
you've seen him like betray you to your face. Like it's yeah. That was one point for me where I was like, this is dumb. Like,
But like I
why
said,
would you even?
Still a good performance though. Like,
Yes.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Solid
I
performance.
really like the movie. I am not gonna go back. I know there's a lot of rumors that I'm very wishy-washy on this stuff, but no, I really enjoy this movie. I agree. This is you can argue second or third best Alien movie.
Agree. Yeah, I'm nitpicky because it was so good and everything else. It's just like, man, if it had nailed that stuff, it would have been like a classic.
Oh yeah, home run, just like
And yeah.
clean.
yeah, and yeah, it's solid enough. It's just it's that one. I'm sorry, I can't let it go. It is that one thing that is like the linchpin of the whole movie for me. And like I said, I don't mind that there are people who are going to be compensated properly for them doing things like that. It's just I have a lot of concerns about that being a more recurring trend and stuff.
There is that, and then there's also like you can't write better than that.
Yeah, it
You know,
has
like-
to be that. You know,
Like what are we doing?
it-
What are we doing?
well, I'm gonna tie it back into what we were talking about First Omen, Jason. Like I said, towards the end of First Omen, where all of a sudden it is starting to tie into what we know about the series. They are doing callbacks to what happens because it is a prequel and it's setting up what's going to happen in that first movie. But they do it subtly. They show you a photo of someone who is in the first movie and say, like, do this for this person. They don't actually bring that person out as a CGI puppet to be like, are you here to do something for me? Like, I'm like, no, it's a lot more subtle than that. It's trusting you to be smart enough to be like, I know that person from the first movie. I know what they're gonna do without actually, parading their digital corpse out. So,
yeah, I didn't like the look of it. I was like, because the technology for me is not there yet.
yeah.
And like, if you're gonna recreate a person
As I understand it,
who
it's
lived, then it's gotta. I lagged out.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. I get what you're saying, Max. Yeah, it's not there. It was a combination of animatronics and deepfake, CGI deepfake type stuff. And the fact of the matter is, the first movie, when they did it practically with that same actor, it looked way better. And it was basically just like a head sticking out of a table. And like the actual like living, breathing actor like played it more artificial, like convincingly. Here, where it's like, it looks like a cartoon.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he doesn't look real. Yeah, like it's and hey, okay, I agree with you, Mike. I'm not a fan of it. So, like, if you're gonna do it, it better not. Like, you're already pulling me out of this movie, like with the story that you've chosen to tell. Like, don't make it worse by making the thing that you can't stand also just look fake. Like,
I didn't think it looked that bad, to be honest.
I haven't liked it yet. I have not liked one CGI face pasty.
And I think it's because it was Android, so again, it didn't bother me because the Android.
I mean, yeah, that could play into it too. Here's how it would have been okay with me if it just been like 1 30-second scene. But the fact that they keep coming back to it, like I said, it happens in Furiosa. They had someone resurrected via CGI in Furiosa, but it wasn't like a main player. Like, their inclusion in the movie didn't necessarily propel the plot forward, in significant ways the way it did here. Like, it was just it was George Miller, I guess, paying respects to a friend by wanting to have him in the history of, his Mad Max saga. Here, the fact that it's a character who's driving the plot and you keep coming back to it, it gets more and more it got more and more distracting for me the more they kept going back to it.
I agree. It's just it doesn't look okay, because again, and I'm coming from a whole different side of it, because I'm like, if you want to make a cartoon, then make one. I'll watch that. Like, you got me already. Like, animate it. Like, let's go. But don't make anything that just doesn't look good. I'm like, if you want it to be in real life, then it's got to be in real life. It's like people call like the Lion King remake live action. And I'm like, no, that's photorealistic. It's not live action.
I saw the trailer for that new Mufasa movie, and I'm like, it doesn't even look photorealistic anymore.
No.
Like, it just looks like a really well polished cartoon. Like, at this point.
Yep. And that's all it ever was. That's all it ever was. When you generate an image on a computer, you are animating. You're not. That's not.
All right, guys.
However much technology you want to use, you're still animating.
All right, let's give our ratings, and then I want to hear about Immaculate. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's my second favorite movie of the year, behind Planet of the Apes. I loved it. A part of the callbacks I didn't really notice because, again, I haven't seen these movies.
Yeah, you're not as familiar with it.
I've only seen them over the years, maybe once. Not liking. I've liked the first 2 Alien movies, and I liked Prometheus. I liked Prometheus a lot. And then Covenant was okay, and then 3 I couldn't finish, and 4 I saw in the Dollar Theater when it came out initially. I don't remember anything about it other than Joss Whedon wrote it.
Yeah. Ron Perlman in that movie.
Oh man, I forgot he was even in it. Oh,
yeah, my favorite guy. He plays the same guy he played in Blade Trinity.
Yep.
or Blade 2.
Blade 2, yeah.
Yeah, but it's the exact same guy.
I will say though, Sigourney Weaver alien hybrid kind of does it for me. She was pretty hot.
Oh, the kill me.
No, not that one. No, not that one. The one that lives. The Ripley that lived.
Oh. The one influence that I did pick up in this movie that I dug is there's parts of this movie that feels like Alien Isolation, if anybody's played it, which is canon to the films. Yeah. And I liked that. And then I went back and saw that Fede Alvarez did, study the game too for
that makes sense.
A few of the things. He definitely captured that.
So maybe it was him. He was like, I have to take elements from all the Alien movies.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he leaned that way, but he obviously didn't get much resistance from higher ups to be like, yeah, sure, do that.
Oh yeah, because dude was like, oh, you put the goo in here? Oh shit.
I got the goo on me.
Hey, all right, goo. I haven't seen you in forever. Shit.
I do like that they left Ridley and Cameron's name off of it, because every time you hear about a new Terminator movie, they pray James Cameron out, and we all roll our eyes. Like hearing about it now at the movie, we've seen it and liked the movie, and now you can say, yeah, James Cameron and Ridley Scott, they had a hand in it, but don't tell us ahead of time, because I don't care.
Anytime Cameron got trotted out for Terminator stuff that didn't involve him directly, other than being a producer, I every time I see him, I'm just like, he's just thinking about his next Avatar movie. Like he's like, just
I
give me the
need
check
this
for
movie
saying
to
that,
make
yeah,
more
this
money
next
to
Terminator is
pay
gonna be
for
great.
Avatar. Yes.
I gotta go drown Kate Winslet again.
Or Ocean Gate. He did like a whole documentary about Ocean Gate, I think, or did
Oh,
did a bunch of
God.
interviews
So,
with
I
that.
mean, he's
If it's
a
not
submarine
ocean
guy,
related, he doesn't care.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Justin,
he's like,
you
look,
give it.
you see how much money I spent on my submarine? You see how good this shit works? Like, their shit was shitty. Like, look at my shit.
That's kind of how I remember the conversation. That is kind of how it went.
He's like, I hired scientists and I listened to them and I built this thing. This
Mother
asshole
Nature.
over here.
Mother Nature's taking it back.
Oh my goodness. No, that's I know it's like sad and like crap and terrible. I'm just not gonna say the terrible thing. I was gonna say a terrible thing. I'm not gonna say it.
Growth. Really growth we have on the podcast.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm gonna leave that one in my own day.
All right, Justin.
I'm an awful person.
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really did like it. I think it was good. There's some small qualms about it, but yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of go with the consensus here. I think Alien is such a great franchise. It is it's so iconic and epic and all that good stuff, and I thought this was a great addition to it. So this is a 4 out of 5 with a caveat of you have to kind of be into Alien. If you're not, then I don't see you. There's nothing really here for you. So like it doesn't kind of hold its own weight for that. Like I couldn't show this to my mom and be like, yeah, okay, there's aliens, but it's also everything else that you want to see. Like there's none of that. But yeah, no, I dug it for sure. I had a great time. I thought it was acted very well. Andy was such a great. Like I mean, the synthetics always have to. They're always the one who people are looking most at. I feel like. It's the synthetic is always a big part of the whatever's going on, and that whoever's playing the synthetic has got to bring it. And I thought Andy was a great synthetic. I mean, he had to play two or three different characters, because Broken Andy is not like freaking businessman Andy. Yeah, so it was dope. I had a lot of fun, and I liked everyone in this.
I want to see more of Rain and Andy. It doesn't have to be like an Alien movie. Just bring the characters back and throw them in like a Mad Max scenario. But I want to see these. I want to see these characters again because I like their story. I feel like
in the prequel where we find out how Andy ended up in the dumpster for her dad to find.
I don't want that. I don't want that.
And there's no aliens at all.
It's gonna be Andy, an alien saga. I'm 2.5. I'm right down the middle. Like I said, I like the first half a lot and the promise it set up. But after the second half, despite having some good sequences, and like I said, the leads are good. But despite having some interesting sequences, like I just couldn't help but feel distracted by that significant thing and how the film kind of shifted after that for me. And again, that's just me because this movie's doing well anyway. So I'm glad it's doing well too, because honestly, yeah, Aliens is one of my favorite franchises too. So if we can get better stuff after this, absolutely. But it's right down the middle, 2.5 for me.
Makes sense.